My next Patreon question is from Andrew, who wants to know if Disney should take a different strategy when expanding the worlds of their recent characters. In recent times, Walt Disney Animation Studios has been doing a lot of work on sequels to some of the most recent hits, like Wreck-It Ralph, Frozen, and Moana, and like many fans, I've had mixed feelings over this decision. If Disney wanted to continue expanding on the worlds and further develop the characters of these movies, they would have been much better off taking cues from the follow-up television series of Tangled. What do you think? Should Disney be making more TV shows based on their movies instead of sequels? To be honest, I've not minded the recent sequels that Disney has been producing, not that there have been many. The last 4 features have even been originals, although yes, they do have some sequels in the works, including 2 new entries in the Frozen franchise. However, I really liked Ralph Breaks the Net and Frozen 2, so I'm not going to complain about Disney making more sequels. And honestly, compared to some of the animated movies from the 90s, these have stories that actually lend themselves to sequels. Although who knows, maybe if Ron Clements and John Musker directed an Aladdin sequel in the 90s, instead of Disney's television department producing The Return to Jafar, that could have been really good. I think there's a lot you can do with Zootopia 2, and some things revealed about the sequels sound really promising. Expanding the mythology of Frozen in the upcoming sequels also has potential. As for Moana 2 being released this year, that one has certainly had a curious development, starting out as a miniseries and then being turned into a movie. Unlike others, I'm not worried. People have been comparing this to something like Cinderella 2 and Belle's Magical World, which were individual television episodes repackaged as a movie when the shows were not picked up. However, the Moana miniseries was telling one individual story across multiple episodes, so I don't think it will be as episodic and disjointed as people are suggesting. This was also likely decided enough time ago that they've done the necessary editing to the story. I've never jumped on the sequel hate train, because my attitude about sequels has long been the same. If they don't make another movie, that's okay, but if they do announce one, I'm curious to see where they take the characters and what story the filmmakers have come up with. Even with the sequels, it's clear Disney is also interested in producing series based on these movies. There is a Princess and the Frog series currently in the works for Disney+, and the writers of Encanto said when they were promoting that movie that they were interested in potentially making a series. I can see an Encanto series having each episode focus on a specific member of the Madrigal family, or maybe even include someone who lives in the town. The movie was a massive hit on Disney+, so I would not be shocked if Disney is doing something with Encanto in the future. Raya the Last Dragon is another movie with series potential, as I really like the world they developed for it, and a series could explore even more of it. I've read some comments from Southeast Asians who felt the cultures from specific countries in the region could have been utilized a lot more, and maybe a series could address that. However, as I said, I'm not bothered by Disney Animation making more sequels, and I would like to add, I feel the same way about Pixar. People online assume that because Inside Out 2 has become a massive success, Pixar will only exclusively make sequels from now on. However, Pete Docter is someone who seems to recognize that there would not be an Inside Out 2 without the original film that people fell in love with. Docter's only directed original movies after all, so he knows a thing or two about the constant need for new ideas. But as I said in my review of Inside Out 2, I generally really like the Pixar sequels because the filmmakers create characters I find immensely appealing, and I'm happy to see what new adventures they go on. I love all the Toy Story movies, so it makes absolutely no sense for me to complain about them making Toy Story 5. And the fact that Andrew Stanton is directing it, someone who's been heavily involved in writing all the movies, only makes me look forward to it more. By the way, I also love Finding Dory and Incredibles 2. The fact of the matter is sequels are now a major part in modern animated cinema, and I view them not too differently from when audiences in the 40s and 50s would see a new Tom and Jerry or Bugs Bunny cartoon in theaters as part of whatever bill they were attached to. Tom and Jerry were immensely popular at the time because audiences loved seeing what new hijinks they got into and were excited to see them launch into their newest fight. Shows featuring the Disney characters would be neat, but I don't mind the production of sequels either. Thank you for your question, Andrew.